Hi guys, it's Matt again from Top Windows Tutorials, and today I'm going to be talking about 6 stupid things with Windows 8. Now, this isn't going to be one of those videos that rants on about how stupid the tiles are and how unusable they are and how ridiculous it is to have a desktop and a tablet OS in one, because, well, frankly, you either see the possibilities that brings or you don't. So that said, the first point is a little bit about that, but yeah, it's not going to be one of these videos that blasts Windows 8. It's going to be more about little niggles that have crept in since Windows 7 that a lot of people have overlooked in all the controversy that's surrounded Windows 8. So yep, 6 derpy things, and I make no apologies for using that reference in here just to get more clicks, so if Hasbro want to sue me, they can go ahead. 6 derpy things in Windows 8. So let's get logged in and get started. Okay, so let's get right into the first point, and for that I'll want to be on the desktop. And as you can see, I'm using Windows 8.1 preview here, so these are all issues that Microsoft probably haven't fixed. So my first niggle, well, number 1 is, let's call it schizophrenic multimedia. There we go, that's got a good ring to it. This is the one that catches out a lot of newcomers to Windows 8. They found their way onto the desktop, they go to their pictures, open up a picture, and it opens up in the tile. Isn't the point that if I'm on the desktop, I'm working at my desktop, and I don't want to suddenly go back to a touchscreen interface? So what happens now is people go, oh, where's my close button? I can't figure out how to close it, and get really confused. So yeah, and there is a workaround, of course. You can just do open with and choose default program, but the fact that this is the default setting, well, what were they thinking? It's just confusing and unnecessary, and they should try and keep the two parts of the OS distinct. As I'm working in a tablet, I don't suddenly want thrown back to desktop where I can't click things with my finger. And if I'm working with my keyboard and mouse, I don't suddenly want to be in a touchscreen interface. So, yep, that's my first niggle with Windows 8. So, let's go on to number 2, and that's the new Task Manager. So let's fire him up. And you might think at first glance that the new Task Manager is pretty fancy. It's got all these new little bits and bobs in it, and hey, you can even manage startup applications. But, what's this here? I can't actually disable this startup application. Why not? Well, I'm not an administrator, but so what? We have user account control. Why can't I click disable and get the user account control box up? Why has this disappeared? In Windows 7's Task Manager, you could elevate it using UAC. You didn't have to exit this and then start it again by running it as administrator from the start menu or start screen. And heck, that didn't even seem to work anyway. The other thing I've found is if you're a standard user and you have a startup program here that's just for you, you can't disable it because you're not an administrator, and you can't elevate to disable it because, well, they've took that out of Task Manager. So yeah, Microsoft, why has this regressed? You invented UAC so that Windows could finally get away from running as admin all the time, and then you change a tool like Task Manager so that it can't auto-elevate using UAC. Has this been fixed in 8.1? Well, it doesn't look like it. So that's number 2. Task Manager can't use UAC to elevate to admin. Right, let's move to number 3, and this is a bit of a nitpick, but on the new start screen we can get to our shortcuts a bit like a regular start menu. But Microsoft seem convinced that we can all get used to using this as a start menu replacement. The trouble is it's not as good as the start menu. Let's take this shortcut here for instance. I'll right click on it. And yeah, there are a few tasks, but there's no edit shortcut for instance, which as a power user I need to do from time to time. So the only way to edit the shortcut is to actually open the file location, which is kind of confusing because it's actually opened the location of the shortcut, and then now I can properties and actually edit the target for the shortcut. If I want to get to the actual location I have to press open file location again. So yeah, if you don't want us to all install start menu replacements on our desktop PCs, at least make sure there's the same functionality in here as we used to get on the old start menu. So that's number 3. Start screen isn't as good as start menu. Alright, my next one is a really strange one, and this is a moan generally about the hybrid Internet Explorer. So I'm on the start screen here, and say for instance I'm working on my PC as a tablet, so I've disconnected the keyboard, done with work today, I just want to browse Reddit or whatever on the internet, and I get the touch version of IE, which apart from appearing with blocky text here, but don't worry about that, I'm using a virtual machine, expect these kinds of things. It works fairly well for touchscreen users, which is great. So I finished my surfing session on the touchscreen PC. It's another day, I'm on my desktop, need to look up something on the web for work, and I get the desktop version of IE. Brilliant, that's how it should work. Now watch what happens if I install the desktop version of Google Chrome. Now I may shorten this down because you don't really want to watch me install this, but anyway. Okay, so I installed Chrome, and because I prefer Chrome to IE, I've made it my default browser. So yeah, I can open Chrome now, start surfing around. To any old website I want. Now, look what happens when I go to this start screen and I want Internet Explorer. It opens in the desktop version. That's odd. Let's close that again and I'll show you again. Yep, it's opened straight on the desktop. For some reason, if you set a different desktop browser as the default, you then explicitly open Internet Explorer on the start screen, you get the desktop version. So unless you opt to have Internet Explorer on the desktop and on the tiles, you can't use the touchscreen version of Internet Explorer. Why? Google Chrome works fine for the desktop, but the desktop IE is the only browser that I know of currently optimized to work with Windows 8 Touch. So why lock it out just because I've changed my desktop browser? You don't lock out desktop IE just because I've installed Chrome. No, I don't get that at all. It doesn't look like it's getting fixed either. Now there is some really complicated workaround for this, but I don't want to go through it in this video. Suffice it to say, it's just odd behaviour and should be fixed. And coming towards the end of the list now, the final one I wanted to talk about is compatibility. Now there's actually a compatibility mode option removed from Windows 8, and that's the Disable Desktop Composition option. Now this won't affect the majority of users, but there are cases when this option is very important. For instance, when you're configuring emulator software, it needs to disable desktop composition for basically things to do with video timings and similar things. Now the only reason Microsoft took this out is because the start screen needs the desktop composition option on, otherwise it just won't open. So the trouble is, most of us didn't even want this new start screen. We were happy with the start menu. So not only have you forced that on us, you've also made it so that we can't run some of our old software anymore. So yeah, not terribly happy about that one. There is a workaround. Again, it's a lot of fuss, but if you have a start menu replacement and you're willing to go through and disable various things in Task Manager or Process Explorer, I think you need, then you can actually disable the desktop composition. Hopefully someone will make that easier for those of us who do need the option, and release it as a tool in future. The last one I wanted to talk about is actually a little regression that 8.1 has seen. For some reason, the Photos app in Windows 8.1 doesn't seem to be as good as it was in the previous versions of Windows, which is kinda odd. It will only... I can't even figure out how to work it. There we go. Oh, no, there we don't go. In Windows 8 you could set the Photo app to pull photos from your Flickr, from your Facebook, all kinds of places on the web, but yet in Windows 8.1 that's been removed. I can't understand why that is, and it was a nice little feature, especially for Windows 8 tablets, but yep, it's gone. Just to show you, settings, options, all the options for social media have now gone. So there we go, that's 6 little things that seem to have gone overlooked in Windows 8 discussion. And what do you guys think? Have I missed something? Am I just being stupid and there's reasons why these things work like this, or you know, why is it like this? Leave me a comment if you have any criticisms or thoughts about what I've said here, and see you all again in another video.